Well, good morning. Today we're going to talk about investing into real estate in the Sarasota market. I've been a landlord 20 years and I am at the celery fields right now. Take a look here. We're here for the sunrise and we're on top of this hill at the celery fields. Really nice place to come. And my name is Maciek Zaremba. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams, and I've been licensed for, like 18 years. Been a landlord over 20 years, still a landlord. And I want to tell you about, some of my experience and just like what you can expect if you're thinking about investing into real estate in our area. So one thing is, you have to kind of consider what it is that you're looking to do. What is the end goal? Because as a real estate agent, I have heard the following different end goals. This is something for you to think about. One, make the most amount of money as possible. Two, get a property that you can use during the season, and the season is the winter. A lot of people like to come here during winter, and then rent it out the rest of the year. Another one is have a family compound that people can come and use from the family. Maybe 2-3 siblings get together and purchase something. And another place is buy something to rent it, create cash flow and some passive income while having the goal of eventually moving into this property as your primary residence. Now there's a few other options, but those are the most common ones that I hear. And quite frankly, those are all great ideas, great goals. So when I look at investing, I started off with making the most amount of cash flow. Another common one is appreciation, just speculation on appreciation, which is not the best investment idea. You're just speculating on something going up. So what I did is I focused on maximum cash flow, just making the most amount of money that I can, because I was 21, 22 when I started, and I didn't have a lot of money to get into investing into a lot of properties. So all I could afford was the junky little properties that needed a lot of sweat equity, put into them. And I did put in a lot of sweat equity. So that usually starts off with the lower income bracket. And I don't mean the ghetto necessarily, although I did invest into the ghetto. I could talk about that too. But lower income meaning, there's median, there's the middle, and just go a little lower than that. And you end up getting more headaches, but more money. So that's kind of the trade-off that you end up having. When it comes to the return on investment, your best bet is always the highest return on investment. Your best bet is getting low income properties. But if you go too low, it flips. It's no longer that good, because what happens is you end up going Section 8 or something like that, and which is government funded money, and those, some Section 8 have trashed my properties. I'll say that. It's not to say yours will get trashed, but mine did, and I was on top of it. I was at those properties every month, at least. So anyway, the next thing you have to think about is really how much money do you have to invest, right? Because you might be forced into one of these lower income properties if you don't have a lot of income to invest, a lot of down payment money to invest. And that's kind of what happened to me too. How much money do you have as a 20-something-year-old, right? Not much. That's how much. At least me, I didn't. So I bought what I could. My first investment property was actually, a home for myself. It was a condo, a townhouse. And That, was $52,000 back in 2002, I believe. And I got an FHA loan, which at the time was 3% down. Right now it's 3.5% down, not much more. So you can get in with not that much money out of pocket. But I got my closing costs paid by the seller. And at the end of the day, I ended up spending $1,600 on my closing statement. $1,600. And I got into home ownership. Taking today's numbers into account, if you get a $150,000 townhouse in that same neighborhood, it was called Fairway Oaks on Fruitville and Beneva, the northeast corner of Fruitville and Beneva, you can get, and I got a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It was amazing. You can get a condo in there. I haven't checked the numbers recently, but let's just say it's $200,000. Take $200,000, 3.5%, you got $7,000 out of pocket, and get some of your closing costs paid. So, let's just say you can't get all of them paid. So what, you're gonna be $10,000 out of pocket to be a homeowner. It's a great deal. Okay, so that's really one section. Well, I just want to show you how beautiful it is here. Look at this. I tell you, we have all this mist and fog. There's looks like a horse ranch over here. Sometimes in the morning here you can even hear the lions roar because there is a sanctuary, a big cat habitat sanctuary. Yeah, I'll do a video on that one. That's going to be a good one. So now, the next part about investing, so that's like lower income, right? Like entry level. What can you do? If you're in your 20s or even in your late teens, just reach out to me. I'd be glad to help. I get so excited about people wanting to invest in real estate and how I can help them. I've been doing it so long. I have software at this point that I use to track all my stuff. I used to be on a piece of paper, then it turned into a spreadsheet. Now I just have software. I manage about 20 properties. And so definitely reach out. It's one of those things that I'm very excited about naturally and love to help. And if you invest in our area, great. I'll help you buy something too, Sure, I'm a real estate agent. There might be a little vested interest in the help. But now let's talk about the next level. So the next level would be something about in the middle range. So let's just call it a median income. So those homes in Sarasota are about $450,000, $500,000. You're not really going to go FHA on that. If it's an investment, you're definitely not going to go FHA. So you want to go in with at least a 15% down payment. Now, in our area, we have a lot of cash buyers. So you may end up having enough cash to go into that. And you may wonder, how much money can I get on a return on investment? And, you'd be surprised. Now, the 1% rule is not being met right now. And the 1% rule is quite simple. But before I tell you, I just want to show you even more beauty of the celery fields. It is so nice up here. I absolutely love it. So what can you rent these properties for, in this price range? And how do you finance them and so on. So you can do as little as 15% down. All right, you need 5% down for a primary occupancy, which you can house hack, meaning you can rent the rooms out. So if you don't have the whole family and everything yet, you can do that. Although I have heard in California things got so crazy, prices got so high that some families would bundle up together And one family would have the upstairs, the other family would have the downstairs and the garage or something, and people would buy like that. I haven't seen that around here, but California gets crazy. So you can have 5% down on a single family home or condo or whatever if you're going to be a primary occupancy owner. If you're going to have a second home, which just means that your job is somewhere else and you're buying a second home for yourself. Now, can you rent it? I'm not 100% positive what the rules are of the loan. All I know is that if you make payments on the loan, no one bothers you. That's been what I've seen, at least. But I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying 10% down for a second home. And sometimes people rent their second homes for like a month or something, just fill it in or let their family use it. But a second home is a really good option if you don't have as much down payment. And the next thing is an investment property, which is 15% down. When you start crunching the numbers, you might realize that you have a net loss monthly if you only do 15% down. And that really depends on what kind of deal you got. What's your entry point on that property? So when it comes to making a decision on how much money down and how much money out of pocket you're going to be, you want to look at the whole picture, not just the down payment and the loan amount. But you do want to leverage yourself because it's just smarter from a financial perspective. It's smarter to leverage yourself. But maybe you don't have to. One thing about me is that at first I used to leverage a lot, as much as I could, and I'll be honest, I lost my ass. In 2007, when Bear Stearns crashed, everything went down. What ended up happening was I lost 4 properties, so that sucked. So that was because I was 90 to 95% leveraged on every one of them. So I don't recommend necessarily going that route. But what you can do is make the numbers work and figure out how much down payment you want based on a 30% decrease of rent. So here's what I mean. A safe bet is if rents drop 30%, will you still be positive on the investment? That's what it is. Your PITI plus mortgage insurance, if you have it, has to be in a lower position than your rent if rents drop 30%. So that's a good formula, but right now it's a little tough to meet. But it really all depends on how aggressive you are too. Now, if you search for a deal, you will find a deal. That's all I can say. If you fly in for if you fly in for a week to look for a property, the probability of finding like an amazing deal is pretty low, and you're going to be competing with other investors for it. But if you're willing to pull the trigger, not being here and trusting, your real estate agent, your trusted agent, me, to really be on top of scouting what's out there, you can always tie it up and then come check it out. Meaning you don't have to be here to write the offer, but then you have the opportunity during your due diligence period to check it out and come fly in or drive over or whatever it is, or get more videos if that's what you want. So I will say that there are lots of opportunities always in real estate, but it really depends what you are looking for, right? So let's go up to the next tier, and that's kind of like the luxury, seasonal rental, high price, initial high price and high weekly price, So when it comes to investing and buying a condo, this is more of a speculative growth, asset growth investment. Are you going to meet your debts? I mean, it depends how much down payment you have and what interest rate you have. Quite frankly, with today's interest rates, 7.5%, on an investment, it'll be maybe 8.5. It's a little difficult if you only put down 15%. That's the truth. So put down more than 15%. And we do have a lot of cash buyers in the area, so maybe it might be a good idea to come in with a larger down payment. And if you have that capability, great. Because here's a strategy. If you have just lots of liquid money and you want to invest when the rates are high, you can buy something, rent it out. Let's just say you buy it cash. Let's just say you buy something $750,000 cash. It's on the Siesta Key, or it may not be beachfront necessarily, but it's on the beach, and you are doing it. You are making money. You are renting it weekly or every 2 weeks, like 2-week rentals, and you're bringing in $4,000 a week, and it's making you money. But it's all your liquid tied up. Well, the interest rates sooner or later will drop, whether it's by the end of the year, which is what they're predicting, that by the end of the year we're going to be in the 5s, or whether it's at the in 5 years or 7 years. You're taking the risk of tying up your money, but you're going to have this opportunity, this golden opportunity at some point to refinance out and get your initial investment back. Ooh, look at this. So when you do that cash out refi, you're gonna plan it in order to have as much cash out as possible with the lowest payment as possible. And that's a balance that you have to decide. And it's all about number crunching to me. It's all about what kind of return you want on your money. Now, when you're younger, you kind of have a fast building phase. When you're older, you're more in the cruising phase. When you're past retirement, you're definitely in the cruising phase, almost always. So Sarasota has a lot of investment opportunities. Next thing I just want to talk about is Airbnb versus annual rentals. So the higher end stuff that's near the beach, where the tourism is, or close to the beach, maybe right off of US 41 in our area, those homes are pretty much great for Airbnb because you're close to downtown and you're close to the beach access points and commerce. So that's great. If you're going past the interstate where I'm at right now, those are not great Airbnb short-term rental opportunities. And short-term rentals are okay. I do have one short-term rental right now. I had more, but right now I have one. And what's happening, if you look at AirDNA, which is a website that shows a lot of data about Airbnb and short-term rentals, what you'll see is that you have more supply hitting the market for the last 2 years. So 3 years ago, it was better than it is today, but the rates are going up. So the rates are going up at a faster rate than the supply is. Therefore, even though you may have a bigger vacancy, you actually profit more. So your vacancy, because you're competing more, is lower, is higher, I should say, your vacancy rate, but you end up making more money at the end of the day because of the times that it is rented. You're getting your 8% more than you did last year. I think that's what it was. I think it was 8% year from 2022 to expected 2023. But short-term rentals are more of a hands-on approach, and it takes a little bit of work. You need to be more on top of it. Whereas the annual rental is a little more hands-off. People fix more of their own things. Airbnb, no one fixes anything but you. You have to fix everything, or your people, I should say. And there's more rules, there's taxes, there's other things you kind of have to do. So what I would recommend is take a deep dive, and I'd be glad to do it with you over the phone, on what your goals are. What is the purpose of possibly investing? Is the purpose just about making money? Is it something you can use while you're here? Or is it a long-term, I'm gonna move here eventually type of property? So I'd be glad to get on a call and kind of discuss some of the options, and then see exactly what it is that you want to accomplish. So you don't have to go for a loan. You'll get a better deal if you're cash. But if you do go for a loan, last thing I want to talk about is 20% down payment. Yeah. Now aside from PMI, there's more reasons. But let's first talk about PMI. Private mortgage insurance. The lenders, here's the deal. If you don't know, the lenders say, hey, you have less than 20% down, you're a high risk borrower. We want you to buy us insurance for the mortgage. If you stop paying your mortgage for whatever reason, we have insurance on it. So PMI costs, $100, $150, $200 a month sometimes, depending on the loan amount. And what they really are trying to do is protect themselves, and I get it. They're lending you money at a low interest rate, So I understand. And if you can get in with at least 20%, then great. You don't have PMI, and you can have that money into your cash flow column because you're not paying someone else for that insurance. But there's more about PMI than meets the eye. Because maybe if you have PMI, you have the opportunity to buy 2 properties with your down payment. You might be able to do, instead of one, 25% down purchase, or 30% down, or 20% down, but a nicer property, you might be able to do 2 properties, and both of them with PMI, just 15% down each, both of them with PMI. And that might be a faster way to grow. So once again, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? That's part of the analysis before you even start browsing and looking. It's important to have a clear, concise plan, and maybe 2 plans, maybe 3 plans, but be clear and just know what you need, what you're looking for. So PMI is a good protection mechanism, and really people, I hear people like, how do I get rid of my PMI? What do I do? Well, you can do something. You can pay down your loan to the point where your loan to value is at 80%. Some banks do 78%. Or you can go and refinance, and where the new loan is going to be 80% or less than the current loan. Or you can wait for appreciation. You just want to wait for everything to go up in value. Now, the good news is eventually things will go up in value. And what I always say is, if you're young enough, and what I mean by that is, if you're 85 and you're getting into real estate investing, you're not going for the speculative appreciation. What if it takes 10 years? You're 95. It's not, if it's for your kids, your grandkids, I get it. That's cool. But Usually, older investors are into the cash flow to kind of subsidize some of the payment that they're currently getting, some of the income that they're getting, right? So you have to look at that. And at that point in time, PMI doesn't really matter whatsoever, because as long as you're happy with the return that you're getting from the investment that you got, it doesn't matter if you have PMI or not. So I think that's really everything that's on my mind with investing. I'd be glad to talk to you. Write some comments. I'll answer questions, might make some videos. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is where I post things and discussions like this, community videos for areas in Sarasota and the beaches and events and parks, things like that. So if you want to talk, use the Calendly link. You can set up a 30-minute call with me. You can call me. My number is 941-888-SOLD, SOLD. Once again, my name's Maciek Zaremba. I'm with Keller Williams, and browse around my site if you want to look at some properties. It's sarasota.com. Thanks.